Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Today is our third class, our second curriculum class. And before we get rolling, any of you those of you who did the healthy full fridge, or now I'm thinking about calling it the happy full fridge. How was it? What are you noticing? How was the experience? How is it opening your fridge these days? What's bubbling from you for you from doing the healthy full fridge? Meredith, go ahead.
I am surprised at how, sounds silly, but I'm surprised at how tasty plain carrots with lemon juice are. I had no idea. So what I've been eating the last 2 days since we did this has been really wonderful and makes me feel good. And I thought I was a healthy eater, and I sort of am, but just these foods are really invigorating. The recipes you had us make, from the tahini sauce to the raspberry pudding to the green smoothies. So I just feel encouraged and kind of excited about the foods themselves.
That's great. That's so great. Sometimes it's just helpful to do like somebody else's basics, instead of our own, just something new and different, and get us sort of rolling in a different direction.
It's clean and satisfying, though.
That's great. Fantastic. I'm so glad. Judith says different, but just as good second time round. What did you notice was different for you?
I felt like I was freestyling a bit more, and I knew the things that had worked better for me. So the quantity of rice in the original lot was just more than I could use, so I didn't cook so much. But it was fun, and I didn't make the soup as a soup, but what I did was prepared all the veg and just sort of basically cooked them so they're on standby, and rather than be soupy, they're dry, ready.
I love that.
So yeah, I just played around with it a bit. And I just said in the message, I had these two, I've been growing squash in my garden, and there were these two hanging about in the fridge, and the soup came out really nicely. I used some of the cooked vegetables, and I put a little tin of coconut milk in, and it turned out great. Yeah, so
I love that. I love the freestyling, right? It's like, okay, these are the basics, and then from there I can play mix and match, and I can be like, oh, this works better for me, or this, I'm more in the mood for this, right? And there's something about like, just, okay, I have the squash in my house. I think I don't know if I told this story here, but the other week I had a big squash, and I was like, oh gosh, I got to get this squash cooked. So I stuck it in the oven. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I was like, okay, I'm going to put the oven on, so I'm going to stick it in the oven. Okay, well, the oven's on, we might as well just put some apples in there. Oh, and I got some sweet potatoes. Let me throw that in. Well, then a few days later, I was like, well, I got all this cooked stuff. What the heck? So I sauteed some onions, put everything in the blender, and it was the most amazing soup. Right? So, it's like just having the basics there that let you do that freestyling. So good. Fantastic. Thank you. Janet says, I love the replay. I want to try all kinds of spices now, like cardamom. Oh my gosh. Cardamom is like, to me, it's the most luscious. There's those, yeah. And there are so many spices that we're not brought up with, in our sort of family system, but to be able to branch out and sort of play. And now the way that spices are sold, there's so many cool spice blends that can take you to a whole other place. There's a spice blend that I started playing with last year, Ras Al Hanout, I think it's called. Yeah. So I was just like, where am I? Like, it was such an interesting, different blend of flavors that I did not grow up with that blend. Right. So it makes eating interesting and fun and pleasurable. And then I'm doing research. Where does this come from? How did this blend happen? Right. It's fun. Okay. Stacy says, this food, I love it. Also, I don't know what the heck is happening, but it seems I haven't really been wanting typically unhealthy foods. And this is the secret right here, right? We don't focus on what we're taking away. We just keep adding in the good stuff, adding it in, adding it in, add in stable blood sugar, add in good basics and whole carbs and, delicious and availability. We add in so that we feel nourished. And from that place of nourishment, we're not looking for all the little things that, oh, I just feel a little empty. I'm a low blood sugar, or I just need a treat. We're nourished. We're really nourished. So that's so cool that it's working its magic. All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. If there's more you want to say about the Healthy Full Fridge, post. It'll also inspire other people to do it. So here's where we're going today. Oh, hold on. Meredith says, trusting that it'll be yummy even in whatever combination I have. For veggies is a new way whatever combination I have for veggies is a new way to think for me. So used to recipes, a good and freeing feeling. So I echo the freestyling. Loved having things to snack on. Absolutely. It's so powerful to have food that's there to just go for. This morning was particularly frantic. I don't know why. And I could tell my husband was like, blah, and I was like, I made deviled eggs yesterday. He was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. Pulled out the deviled eggs, and it was like happy clam. Like it works for everybody, just having it there. The chia pudding. I know that chia seed pudding. It's good. And I've tried it with other fruits. Like I've done it with blueberries. I've done it with bananas. I've done raspberries is where it's at, if you ask me. I just think that the texture matches the chia seeds in just that certain way that the whole thing is. So one other thing I want to say, Meredith, that you brought up is that freestyling and unhooking from recipes. Many of us were either raised on Martha Stewart or Julia Child, or all these sort of, fabulous, true chefs. I am not a chef. I'm a casual cook. I cook for a family. I cook for myself. Like sometimes I get chefy, and we joke about that in our family. We're like, ooh, someone's getting chefy. My kids look, and we're like, I'm getting chefy now. I'm like, okay, you go for it. But mostly we're just cooking. And to be able to be relaxed about that and not have it to be, not need it to be a recipe. And sometimes we'll sit down and be like, okay, here's this food. And I'm like, could use a little, and somebody will go up and get some, some harissa oil or a little, and keep adding to make it just so good. Janice says chia seed pudding with the orange rinds and orange aroma oil. Oh my gosh. Right? Like freestyling at its best. So delicious. Brilliant. Okay. All right. I could talk food forever. And here's where I want to go today. I want to talk about self-compassion. I want to lead you in a meditation. And then we're going to talk about the second issue that often keeps us in the pit of shame. So the second life factor that seems to get in the way of us doing the things that we really know truly nourish us. And I say it seems to get in the way because the reality is that all of these obstacles, all of these things that we often think of as, oh, I'm sabotaging myself, right? Or it's such an, like, I got to get rid of this habit, or I'm just in a bad, like pattern with this. All of these struggles, these are, dare I say, gifts. They feel not very gifty, but they are truly gifts because they are signposts, they are messengers, they're information about what we truly, truly need. Right? So that binge where you're like, oh my gosh, I have got to get rid of that binge, that binging habit. Let's get curious. Let's shift into curiosity. Let's shift into listening. Let's shift into truly getting to this place of really hearing what's going on. Okay. Yeah. So all of these struggles we have with our food and body are doorways into a deeper relationship with ourselves. And they give us real time feedback about what we really need. Right? So yesterday, I can't remember what was happening. And then suddenly I was really hungry and I just didn't know what to eat. And I sat down and had some cheese and then a little more cheese. And I was like, why am I eating cheese? Like, it doesn't, like, I'm going to end up feeling mucusy and that's not going to work for me. So what's going on? Right? So if we could approach like a eating behavior that we're like, what was that? You know, it's not so like me to sit down in the afternoon and start slicing myself cheese. So I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? What happened before? Was I waiting too long to eat dinner? Right? What was I feeling something brewing? Right? We want to get curious right in there. So we want to go there today. And okay, I know it's a little loud in my house right now. Is it too loud? Can you hear okay? It's okay? Okay. All right. Okay, so today the obstacle we're going to explore is our nervous system. And if I have my timing right also, which is always a little debatable, I'd like to check in how we're all doing. So that's four things on the agenda for today. So the first is about self-compassion. I want to remind us why this is the self-compassion eating course, right? The compassionate eating course. And here's what the research says. And when I talk about research, Kristin Neff and Christopher Gremmer are two psychologists who have been studying self-compassion in the last 15, 20 years. And one of the things that they have found out is that when we are kinder, when we are more caring, when we are more understanding with ourselves, we're more able to treat ourselves better, right? And I know I've said this before, and I'll say it 100 more times, because we're so hard on ourselves and we think if we're just more disciplined and more controlled and like firmer with ourselves, we'll eat the things that really nourish us. And that's not the truth, right? It's just like what Stacy was saying, like, oh my gosh, I did all this nice cooking for myself. I'm giving myself that. And then I'm actually treating myself better. But when I'm in the restriction, when I'm in the don't do this, then it actually doesn't serve us. It doesn't make us treat ourselves better. It moves us into resistance. It moves us into our rebel. Okay. So self-compassion is the path to deeply listening and respecting ourselves so that we can create a trusting, a nourishing relationship with ourselves. Right? I want to say that again. Self-compassion is the path to deeply listening and respecting ourselves so that we can create a trusting, nourishing, respectful, responsive, caring, attentive, considerate relationship with ourselves. Self-compassion is where that starts. It doesn't start with restriction. It doesn't start with rules. It doesn't start with shaming ourselves. That's not the path that we're headed on. Okay? So self-compassion equals better self-care. And I know I'm like, keep going around this point over and over because we have been embedded with the message that if we're doing something that we wish we weren't doing, that if we come down with a hammer, we'll stop doing that thing. That's not true. Right? Wendy, the names of it's Christopher Gremmer and Kristin Neff. Kristin Neff has a gorgeous book. I'm looking at my bookcase, but I'm not seeing it right away. Self-compassion. Power of Compassion. Gorgeous book. Beautiful, like really worth reading. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say about self-compassion, just to remind us, like, why are we doing this? Why are we focusing on self-compassion? Why are we focusing on the kindness aspect? Because it's the foundation to treating ourselves better, to feeding ourselves better, to supporting ourselves, to listening to ourselves. Okay? All right. Now I would love to invite you into a meditation, into a moment of just breathing and feeling and a little bit of an experience of self-compassion, what that can feel like and sound like for you. So if you would first put a paper out in front of you or wherever you take notes, that would be awesome. And if closing your eyes is what feels good for you for meditating, if you would do that, and then put your hand on your heart and just feel your heart. See if you can feel the beating of your heart. See if you can feel the breath of your heart, right? The moving of air moving in and out of your chest. Right? What we're doing is going and meeting ourselves, right? By putting your hand on your heart and going, what do I feel? Do I feel that heartbeat? Do I feel my breath moving? We're going to meet ourselves. We're engaging our interoceptive awareness and we're meeting ourselves. We're presencing ourselves. And then, breathe however you breathe. There's no right way to breathe here. Just whatever you're doing is perfect. And then I'd like you to say hello to yourself, either out loud or internally, but just saying hello. And noticing what bubbles when you say hello. And you could try hi or hey, or whatever it is, and notice what greeting feels right for you. What's the most welcoming greeting for you? And notice what that feels like. Notice what it feels like to have greeted yourself. And there's nothing you need to do about it. Just notice, when I actually go and meet myself with my interoceptive awareness, and then also say hello, that's what it feels like. And then I want you to try this experiment. I'd like you to try on a term of endearment. So it's something like, oh, hi, honey, or hello, sweetheart, or hello, love, or hi, bunny, whatever it is, try on different ones and just see, right? And you might need to try a few. You might land on one right away and be like, oh my, that's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no right endearment. There's no right perfect words. It might even feel a little awkward. Right? We're going to give ourselves a moment to play with this, to really sink into what would it feel like to really be like, oh, hi, right? Darling, sunshine, sweetie. Right? See if there's a warm greeting that works for you. See if there's a warm greeting that works really well for you. And then sink into how that feels. Really sink into it. And check in. What happens when you turn your body, when you turn yourself towards kindness? Yeah, lots of feelings there. Lots of feelings. A lot of feelings. And notice physically, emotionally. And there's no right feeling here, really. There's only your unique experience. When to greet yourself with kindness. And you might need to remind yourself to breathe. Sometimes when there's a lot of feelings come up, we hold our breath to try to control that feeling, just making space. And when you're ready, I'd like you to say to yourself, thank you. To yourself, thank you. And just notice what thank you feels like. Thank you. Thank you for being in this process with me. Thank you for being willing to feel. Thanking yourself for showing up. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes and write. Just what did you notice? What were your ahas? What did you feel when you said hello? What did you feel when you called yourself a tender name? What's there? And if you're willing, if anybody wants to either chat or say, what did you notice? What happened for you? You can unmute yourself. Hold on, I'm just on the search for my water. There it is.
Well, I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead, Sue.
I landed on hello, dear, and it felt right. And I realized it's because that's what my mom called me. She put her hand on my cheek and said, goodbye, dear, in the tenderest way. And so it felt like being very tender to myself. And when I said thank you, I suddenly felt warm. I didn't feel cold anymore.
Mm,
I felt warm.
right. So there was
Nice.
a warmth and a tenderness.
Yes,
Beautiful. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie. You just have to unmute yourself.
There you go. I landed on hello, sister, because that's what my mom always called me, was sister. I have two little brothers. And I felt like she needed to hear that.
Mm.
And I felt that there's a deep healing that probably needs to happen that I wasn't aware of.
Hello, sister. Just try that one on. Like, that's amazing, right? It already implies like we're related. Really, and who are you more related to than your own self? Like,
Mhm.
you're a perfect DNA match. Like, that's your relation, right? That hello sister, that's so powerful. Mm. And that awareness of there is a deep healing in there that's really ready to come. Thank you, Carrie. And Debbie says calm, relaxed, right? There's something very powerful that happens with that tenderness, with that self-compassion, with that meeting. Wendy says, hey, honey. What landed, and then what came up with thank you was you are worthy. Right? When we're in that place of appreciation, up comes the truth. You are worthy. Your worth is a set point in the universe, and everything that makes you feel small is a lie. Everybody, write that down. That is freaking wisdom right there. That is the truth that comes when we tap into the deep wisdom that exists in us. Absolutely. Unbelievable. You are totally believable. You are worthy. Your worth is a set point in the universe, and everything that makes you feel small is a lie. That is powerful. Cindy says, hello, wonderful, deep feelings of peace. Judith says, versions of my name that only close friends and family use. Jude and Jay, I like calling myself that endearment, right? The we're connected. I love you in the name, right? When someone has those pet names for us, they're like, when they say it, they're basically saying, I love you right in the name, right? You're special to me. You matter. How powerful to be in that relationship with our body, with ourselves. Meredith, hello, pumpkin. Oh my gosh, these names. Pumpkin. It's just like the funny, joyful little girl was still there before all the efforts at control and discipline and management. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. Jen says, I felt how much I'm holding and could feel the heartache. So good to just cry and be with myself. Absolutely, right? To make space, to hold ourselves in that endearment and make space for the feelings that we're holding, right? And to hold ourselves with tenderness allows us to make space for it. Thank you. Claudia says, I couldn't hear anything that was sort of sweet. I could only say hi to you. And that is a beautiful place to start. Just saying hi. Hey, hey, knock, knock, I'm over here. That is a very powerful place to start, right? I want a relationship, right? When I get myself all in a tiz, I go into an old pattern of I'll do it myself. I got this. I'm going to do it myself. I don't need anybody. And my husband, after 25 years of marriage, has learned, and he goes, knock, knock. Hello. I'm out here. I'm like, oh, crap. I really believe I'm all by myself in there. Like, this is the reality I have constructed. And he's like, hello. And that is so healing. So, Claudia, for you to just go, hey, is a beginning, right? It lets me start to pull down the armor and go, oh, I am not alone in this, right? There's somebody there. Stacy, hello, dear one. Dear one. Oh my gosh, made me feel loved. Incredible. Hello, gorgeous goddess. Oh, Marty, I like that. I was struggling with a little distraction. Yeah. Discomfort, PMS cramps. Yeah. But hello, gorgeous goddess, especially when you're in the middle of PMS cramps. That's a good one, right? I am a goddess, and this is what we do. We do till we don't. That's part of it. Judith, apart from hello, I do often say, well done, dearie. Oh, that's so English, Judith. That's so fabulous. I love that. Well done. She's like, well, I am. Thank you very much. Valerie, hello, loved one. I felt a letting go, a definite release of tension and calmness. Beautiful. Janice, hello, girl, then changed to sunshine. It's what my mom called me. I think she visited. Tears of joy for the contact in my body. Yeah, so powerful. Patrice, hello, Padres. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Funny how we picked names that made us feel wonderful when we were young, before all the food rules came into place. My body answered, I have been waiting for you to ask about me. Oh, that's amazing. Deborah says, I said, hello, love. I felt less numb and a sense of warmth. Oh my gosh, so incredible. And Deborah, thank you for posting that you were here for the first time. I'm so glad. And I will make space to like introduce properly, but let me keep rolling or I will go whee into some interesting tangent in a second. So, but I want to make space and thank you for just putting that right in the chat. I really appreciate that. So this is powerful, right? This is what self-compassion looks like in action. Let me say that again. We can say, oh yeah, it'd be nice for me to be nice to myself. It's an idea, right? Oh yeah, I should be more respectful. I should be kinder. It's a nice idea. But this is what it looks like. It looks like going, hello, Padres. Hello, sunshine, right? That's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. That's how we start listening to our body, to our wisdom, making space for what's going on, right? And some of what I heard in there, which is so important, some of what I heard was nervous system care, right? Your stress level lowered. I heard warmth, calm, release, less numb, a release of feelings, tears, release of tension, right? All of that, your stress level came down, right? Breathing changed, right? You connected with yourself. You talked to yourself with kindness. So I want you to see that hookup really clearly. Self-compassion is a good thing. We talked about that. This is what self-compassion looks like, sounds like for you. And when that happens, oh, now we're in nervous system care. You get the leapfrog there? Excellent. Okay. And I know many of you have heard me talk about this till I'm blue in the face. I will give you the 1-minute version. This is the biology lesson of today. We have 2 branches of nervous system: sympathetic, not so sympathetic, and parasympathetic. Sympathetic, fight or flight. It's our stress response. Parasympathetic, rest and digest. Sympathetic, high cortisol, high adrenaline. Parasympathetic, less cortisol, less adrenaline. Sympathetic, lower immune system, lower metabolism, right? Parasympathetic, more ability to metabolize, more stronger immune system. Okay, so I want to ask you a question. Where are the times in your life where your nervous system gets cranked up? Where are the times in your life where their nervous system goes cranked up? Anger. What else? Okay, worry. US politics. Yes, ma'am. Husband comes home after a stressful day, right? Somebody else's energy enters this, right? Work stress, meetings, calls. Kids get sick, right? Family stress, worries, absolutely. Late when I'm not getting something done I committed to, right? Expectations, deadlines, expectations, worry. Somebody else is angry, right? That's stressful. Absolutely. So, watching the news, oh my gosh, totally. When someone else is really angry after I've binged. So I've binged and then I'm angry and then I feel stressed, feeling not connected, opening bills, right? Expectations, pressures. I feel like I'm running at a higher level all day, ready for flight if I need to. Yeah. A lot of people are at this all the time right now, right? More so than ever because of COVID, because of ridiculous politics, all of the above, rushing, being in a hurry. Okay, so let's talk about nervous systems. All these stressors, sort of, I think of them in like three basic realms. They don't all fit in them, but just to sort of understand them a little bit. So one is life stressors, right? I've been going all day. I'm taking care of business. I'm taking care of my family. I'm not done on my to-do list. There's a gazillion things, right? All of those. So that's the whole expectation realm. Then there's emotions. I'm having feelings. I'm angry. I'm worried, right? There's that whole emotional realm of stressors, internal. Then, and this is one that comes in that we don't often talk about, which is another stressor, which is how we feel about our body, right? I'm hating my body. I feel bad about what I ate. I'm comparing myself to my college roommate who just posted herself in an itty bitty bikini in Tahiti, right? Like all of those things, right? Am I being judged? When I walk into a room, am I being judged on my size? Am I safe, right? Social currency. Is somebody who is younger, is somebody who is thinner, do they have more social currency? Right. Stressful to get dressed in the morning, right? So there's the am I enough stressor. Okay. So we want to be turning down the volume on the stressors. And one thing that helps is to name it. Oh, this is an expectation life stressor. Yeah. Okay. Or wow, I'm feeling a feeling. Or, oh, this is an internal expectation. This is a body expectation. This is an I'm not enough stressor. Right? So when we're running up here on this nervous system, it helps our whole system to be down here. It helps metabolism. It helps calorie burning. It helps immunity. It helps health in general. It helps inflammation. So one of the things that helps is to go, okay, here's this sort of nondescript stress, but let me pull it apart a little bit and see what it is. Is this an expectation? Is this just a big worry? Sometimes these days, especially with politics, which can like put me through the roof in like 2 seconds, I'll be like, oh, that's a politics stress. Okay. All right. I can't actually impact that in this right moment, right now. Okay, so let me come back to my own body. The not enough stressors, we really want to unpack here. That is a place where we can get into it. And there's 3 powerful strategies that we've already worked with today. One is breathing. One is contacting my, my heart, my hand on my heart, right? Interoceptive awareness takes us inside, and connecting with ourselves, saying hello, and engaging with tenderness. Okay, so my next question to you is, what do you already do that supports your nervous system? What do you do that helps you go from sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight? I know you have a gazillion and one strategies, and I want to hear all of them. because they're going to help somebody else here. So what do you do that goes from here down to here? Nature. Absolutely. Very powerful. Meditate, essential oils, talk to friends, movement, animals, yoga, massage, deep breathing, walking, exercise, guitar, music, absolutely. Acupuncture, ear acupuncture, walking, paint, listen to birds. I want you, as you're looking at these, to look for something that looks appealing to you that you don't do, or if something like, oh yeah, that, I used to do that and that really worked for me, but I don't do that anymore. Find something. This is like an amazing list here, right? This is the wisdom of women right here. I put my head down, talk out loud to myself as if I'm a friend. Stacy, we're gonna work this out. Love that, right? Coming to ourselves with support. Sue, realizing I can't impact what it is. Bathe, water, bubble bath. Oh my God, I am the biggest water. That's like my go-to for stress. Gardening, making touch contact with my partner. Yes, all these things, so powerful, right? Identifying what I cannot change and what I can change, right? Where do I have impact here? Sitting in the sun, right? Sunbathing, forest bathing, all those things, right? So what I do a finite bit of work and cross it off, right? That's that sense of accomplishment. Okay, I've done this one thing. Great. Okay. Oh, watching chipmunks play. My gosh, so fantastic. Okay. So here's my question, or here's my invitation. Take one thing. Not an extreme makeover, right? Not an extreme makeover, one thing. And it may be, you know what, I'm already doing this one thing, but if I did it a little more, or I love this idea of watching the chipmunks play, I want to add that. One thing that you're going to bring in. One thing. Not a million, right? Change happens slowly, very slowly. And we want to have it be that like, oh, hi, bunny. Hi, sunshine. Like that, just that little invitation into a little gentleness, a little kindness. Because part of what we're doing here is reminding I'm safe. I'm worthy. I can stop. Serene says, I'm going to set an alarm 4 times a day and check in when the alarm goes off. I touch my heart. Oh, this is what you're already doing. Yeah. And say, I profoundly love and accept myself. Really feel it. I notice the forced checking in has allowed me to stay in calmer, less stressed state the rest of the time. Very powerful, right? Staying in contact, using technology even to bring you back to yourself. It's very powerful. All right, here's what I want to do in the next little bit. I want to read you a poem, and then I want to check in. What's staying with you? What's bubbling? And I want Deborah to introduce herself. So I'm going to start with a poem, and I'm reading this poem in particular because what we're talking about here is this, how to make this idea of being in relationship with our body, not an idea, but an actual hello, hello, honey, hello, whatever it is, right? Hello, sister experience. So this poem is called We Got the Body Thing Wrong. We got it wrong because we were taught it was a thing, our body, something to be dealt with, to be managed, to be monitored, to be measured. We got it wrong because our body became it. How could this wondrous collection of cells, wisdom, and energy be in it. It puts our body over there, separate from us. It keeps us from being connected. Your body, she, he, they, goddess, is connected to you. She is you. Our parts are all connected, body, mind, soul, spirit, feelings, but she, your body, keeps getting left out. She gets ignored, objectified. She gets managed. Try calling her she, or darling, or lovey, or sister, or padres, or sunshine, or all the other amazing things, or whatever name you call someone you truly love. Try that and watch a relationship unfold. So that's where we are in this process. And I just want to loop back to the beginning again. This isn't just like frou-frou, like self-care, go for a walk. It's really engaging in this relationship of self-compassion that then has an impact on your nervous system, that then changes how you treat yourself, right? So I just want to go back to the science part of it. So it's not like, oh yeah, that's a nice too, right? Okay. Deborah says, is there a place to read all of your poems? I have them actually, most of them on my website, but I'll post this one. I'll post this. So Deborah, would you, so one, I just want to invite people, we have 10 more minutes. What's brewing? What are you taking away from today? I really want to know. And Deborah, would you introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and one word about what is compassion for you?
Hello, everyone. I am Deborah, and I'm here from New Jersey. I'm about like, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes northwest of the city, New York City. And I'm so glad to be here with you live. Right after this, I have to zip out and take my kids to the pediatrician. So I'm home today. But one word for compassion that sort of popped up just now is maybe warmth.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard it a bunch of times. Like Sue, you said it. I suddenly felt warm, right? There is. It's like literally it's a physical experience. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
What else is coming? What are you leaving today with what's brewing, what's bubbling for you? You can just unmute yourself or put it in the chat, whatever works best for you.
I like the idea of choosing something rather than lots of different options, just choosing a thing to focus on. And I had not thought of this as a self-care strategy of mine, but since lockdown, early in lockdown, I decided to sign up for Hebrew lessons on Duolingo. I know a lot of Hebrew, but it's a long time since I've actively learnt it, and I love languages. You know, I know a number of languages, and it's been a sort of homecoming. And I haven't made it a sort of steady pattern, but I like the idea that that could be part of my sort of self-care in a more ongoing way. So thank you.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It, like, I can tell it gives you delight, right? So it's, it takes it away from, oh, I should learn this language, to it delights me, right? It feels caring. It feels supportive. It's beautiful. Okay, let me go back. Okay, Janet says, for me, a sense of reunion and prioritizing myself. A reunion and prioritizing myself. Beautiful. Carrie, I feel like I need to spend more time listening to her. How do you want to do that?
I think I think I have to set an intention to have that conversation, not just setting aside time to meditate, because I do that daily, but setting aside some time to intentionally listen. I think someone said it, setting an alarm and checking in. I don't know, at some point somebody said that.
Yeah,
That may be a good
Serene
idea for
did,
me,
yep.
but I think it's just hard to listen to ourselves or her without setting an intention to do that, or a time to do that.
Yep. Very powerful. Very powerful. Experiment with some things, and if it feels comfortable to you, post on Facebook how you want to do it, just to anchor it, maybe get some support, maybe inspire other people to do the same.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also why I find that this works so well in groups of women, is we hold that space for each other. Oh, this is the space where we listen in. This is a space where we honor the wisdom of our body, right? Versus the rest of the world that's just like, move on and ignore her. It's different. So it is very powerful to have community. Thank you. Meredith says, I feel a little dizzy and drugged with the release of stress from today's meditation, not used to it. Yeah, it is. When we have that like release, it can feel kind of intense. So a couple things. One is drink water. That can be very, very helpful. And the other is notice the sensation, right? And because sometimes when we get that feeling of like that stress, like we can start to hold that, notice sensation, and just like, okay, that's what's happening. Yep. It's, when we're so used to being like this, when we release, it's like, what? It can feel a little untethered. Yeah. Wendy, listening inward and giving self what I need from there. Instead of you're doing this workout or eating this salad, hey, honey, how can I look after you in this moment? So beautiful. So beautiful. Absolutely. And who was it who said on Facebook, what can I do to make you more comfortable? That was very beautiful. Very powerful. Yeah. Okay. Ina says, I'm having difficulty engaging due to high stress levels. Stress levels that you're feeling right now?
Well, the stress of the environment, just what's going on in the world.
Yes.
And, usually when I take a class, I really dedicate myself and do a lot of work, all the extra work. I just can't do that right now.
Yeah. But that's the reality, right? That's where compassion comes in. And one of the things that I encourage you to be is not an A student here. Please don't be, right? Like C for compassionate student, C for a caring student, C for a considerate student. Just be a C student. I don't need you to be an A student, right? Like there's no, like, if I get all of this, then everything will be solved. I'm absolutely going to tell you, not all of your unwanted eating behaviors is going to go, they're not going to poof, magically disappear in 3 weeks. This is the start of a relationship that allows you to move through the ups and downs of life. Right? This is the beginning of unpacking what's going on in here. Do I have a relationship? How do we talk to each other? Right? It's a journey for sure. So Ina, thank you for saying that. I think most of us are having a hard time engaging fully in anything right now. It's just hard. It really is. And that's part of how we open the door to self-compassion, is go, of course. Of course. It's a very stressful time in our lives as a whole world. Of course it would be hard. Right? That opens the door to compassion. One of the features of self-compassion is that we notice that other people struggle as well. You're not being self-compassionate. You're like, I can't believe everybody else is able to manage. What's the matter with me? Everybody else is getting all their stuff done. What's the matter? Mm-mm. Self-compassion sounds like, oh, everybody is having a hard time. Everybody struggles with this differently. Of course, this would be hard for me, right? That's what we're like, we're getting that hinge of that self-compassion door to just creak open. And part of it is, oh, I'm not like, and for those of you who are watching the recordings, like, oh my God, I haven't listened to every recording. Oh my gosh, I didn't show up live for every single one. Oh my gosh, I'm not posting on Facebook. Like, give it a rest. Really, this is not about being like showing up perfectly with this. I'm not interested in that. I'm not here for that. So thank you, Ina, for bringing that up. It's really important. Colleen says that warm came up for me too. Before I heard it, I actually grabbed my thermometer. Right? Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm getting a fever, right? That warm, like whoosh. It's great. Meredith says something that came up when saying thank you to self was thank you for not giving up on me. Wow. Yeah, our body has been just waiting for us, just waiting for us to come back and say, I hear you. I am with you. I see you. Our body is our most loyal friend, even when weird crap is going on with her, right? Even when you're like, I don't know, having to take a medication for this or surgery for that, she is still our most loyal friend. And sometimes we feel betrayed. What do you mean? I was treating you this way, this way, this way, and now you have a disease? What's the matter with you? You betrayed me. Or I was eating this and this and this, and then you gained weight? You betrayed me. Well, then let's heal that relationship, right? Betrayal can sometimes show up in our relationship as a snarl, right? I did this and this and this, and then you got old? What's your problem? Yeah. It's a complex relationship. Cool. Valerie's doing Duolingo. All right. Oh, Deborah, when I went for my mammogram the other day, the robe they gave me was too small. I felt angry with myself and my body, but after today, I feel differently. You know where that anger belongs, right? At the medical system, I'll leave that word by itself, that medical system that is not weight inclusive. Not weight inclusive. Does not have the right clothing to make us feel safe in our bodies. Right? The problem is not located in your body. The problem is out there in our culture. I am glad. Unhook that one. Makes me so mad. All right. Good. Okay. Judith, like Janice, the World Reunion came up for me. Deborah, there's so much to explore about how we're treated by the medical profession. Debbie, I like the idea of setting an alarm. Great. Take a moment to tune in. And Judith, I have a real sense of deepening and settling into this practice, having started in May. Very grateful. Yes, it is a practice. It becomes us, where it's the most natural thing to be in contact with ourselves, to know what we feel, to tune in, to ask her, to consider her, that our body doesn't become the punching bag for our cultural bullshit about women. All right, I'll leave it there. Okay, Thank you so much to everybody. Jenna, ready? Thank you. Meredith, great. I know everybody has to go. I'm going to actually stop on time. Thank you so much. Our next call is on Thursday. Okay. You can unmute yourself if you want. Say a big loud goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye. Thank you,
so
Nina.
much.
Bye-bye,
You are
everybody.
all amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Bye.